Good evening, everyone. Um, Before we begin today, I'm just gonna play a song or two, and we'll go ahead and begin. Um,
Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Whenever I am tempted, whenever clouds arise, when songs give place to sighing, when hope within me dies, I draw the closer to Him. From care He sets me free, and His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He cares for me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He cares for me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds more, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. When the long night has ended and the storms come no more, let dance on that bright shore, in that land where the best come. Lord, may I dwell with thee till the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe, keep me safe till the storm passes, till the storm passes by.
All right, everyone. This is Brother Brandon coming to you from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Really not doing all that well today at all. Just really stressed and really didn't want to be here tonight. But I said we would do a video tonight or today, and I want to be the man of my word. I'm not going to just not do one and whatever. So I may not feel like doing one of these, but I'm going to do one anyways. Tonight we're not going to get too much into it tonight. I think we're only just probably going to go through a couple pages of this book. We're only going to go through a couple pages of this book, so this is going to be a numerous part thing. And my battery is like at 25%. So before we begin, for those of you that know what's been going on lately, for those of you that don't, I have a check engine light on, and went and took it in today to see what it was, and pretty much in a nutshell, depending on what it is, whether if it's the gasket or Cadillac converter, it's going to be something that I will not be able to afford. Given my present job, I will not be able to afford it, because I live paycheck to paycheck, and I do struggle at times, which is why I've decided to go back to doing DoorDash, which is where I was most of the late afternoon, early evening hours. I'm doing DoorDash as kind of a help to help me with some extra stuff, but also with the hopes that I could be able to start putting money towards my credit card on a constant basis, to where I could hopefully, with the hope, be able to pay that sucker off, because it seems like every time I try to put down a minimum thing, it's just going to shoot up higher and higher and higher and higher, and I am struggling. I'm just going to be honest with you. I am struggling, in need of God's help, because I have to pay my bills, and I cannot really afford to get any of these Cadillac converter things. If it's what it is that I need to get, I don't know. When I took it in today, when I took it in my car today, it was kind of one of those, it could be it, but it could be something else. It's not a definite thing. And I know that because I used to work for AutoZone, so I know how that works. Okay, so I am really extremely stressed out. I've got personal struggles that I'm struggling with as per sins. And today is just one of those heavy days for me. And so I would greatly appreciate it if you all would pray for me. Because I'm telling you, a year ago, the devil was fighting me on coming down here, and that's all I'm going to say to that. Okay, now a year later, I'm just happen to be experiencing things from the time that I once moved down here a year ago. On top of that, on top of this light coming on, my credit card debt, on top of all that, I got about $2,000 worth of. I got over $2,000. Well, hang on a second. The credit card debt's over $2,000. Okay. On top of the over $2,000 credit card debt that I got to pay off, on top of this light that binged on me today, I've got tax that we're in tax season, which means I've got taxes to pay. Now, I won't give you the exact amount, but as of right now, where it's sitting, I'm going to end up owing the federal government well over $200. Okay. Now, I know, a whole bunch of people are going to question me on that and say, well, that you shouldn't be paying that, and you gotta take more out of your check. Now listen, okay, my checks are not that big every week. I've got 2 weeks out of the month where I really practically can't tithe, because most of that check is going to go towards paying bills and gas and stuff, which is why I made the decision to go back to doing DoorDash to help me out with that stuff. So if I have a hard time doing that, what makes you think I'm going to go back and get more taxes taken now? You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be mean, but this has been a rough day for me. And I'm telling you, it seems like every time I always start getting back into good days, smack into the worst days ever. Well, not the worst days ever, but I get smacked right back into not so good days. Now, given the fact that the difference between now And before was I'm getting back into Bible reading, which is keeping me at bay. And it's keeping me at bay from all the stuff that I'm dealing with. Okay? It just is. Even my struggles that I struggle with, it's actually keeping me really at bay and not being hard on myself as I ought to. So, on top of that light, on top of my credit card debt, and on top of all that, okay, I've got taxes. So I really need your prayers. I really, really need your prayers. I really do. Now, with that said, okay, with that said, I'm not one to go around begging for money. I'm just not. I don't think you really ever see me all that much beg for money in my broadcasts. You just don't see it. And the truth of the matter is, because of my pride, I don't like asking for that. Because the fact is, I really don't like asking for help when it comes to money. And the truth of the matter is, I need to learn how to receive as well as to give. I like giving. I wish I can give, and give. But I also have to learn how to receive. And that's a hard thing for me. Believe it or not, that's a hard thing for me. I don't like asking people for money. I do not, because it's just, I've seen, you have these Bible preachers that do that, and all they do is they feed their egos, and they do stuff that preachers shouldn't be doing. Okay? But what I'm going to say is this. If the Lord is leading you to help me out in any way, shape, or form, if the Lord is leading you to help me out, I'm going to tell you it would be better for you to obey the voice of the Lord than to listen to me try to talk you down and say, no, I don't want you doing that. Okay? So I want you to obey God and obey what He tells you. And I don't want to come off as some sort of preacher that all he cares about is money. That's not, no. I legitimately am not a rich person. I get by. So, I'm going to leave it as that. But the most thing I do, really the only thing I want you all to do for me is pray. Because I need it. I don't feel like myself at times. Today's just one of those days. I don't feel like myself. Which is why I'm probably not going to be on here for very long. But I want to give an introduction to this message. I want to give an introduction and kind of lay a foundation on something and kind of start getting into it. But I want to mention this first, because life right now for me is tough. And I'm trying everything I can to try to make it a little bit easier for me. And it seems like anytime I try to do that, it just goes right back into being difficult. So today's just not one. Today is just one of those days. It's not my day, and I just really don't feel like doing this video right now, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna do it for your sake and for the sake of keeping my word. I'm going to lay aside all that's bothering me for a moment. Going to lay all that aside and do this video because because I promised that we would do it. I promised. And I intend to keep that promise. Because God reminded me that He's not going to allow me to give up on His sheep. He's put me here for the benefit of the sheep. So, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing tonight. So, with that said, that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, if y'all want to know the good news is I'm alive. I'm still alive, and I'm still kicking. That's the good news. There's more to life than anything else. Amen. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to Jeremiah chapter 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. Last week, I did a video, and I said, Lord willing, we would get into Masonic and Occultic Symbols book, written by Dr. Kathy Burns. If this is something that interests you, I would recommend you go to like Amazon or something, see where you can find it and get it for yourself. Okay? But we're going to go through this book, but we're going to go through some stuff first. So, again, that's Jeremiah chapter 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. Going to start in verse 2 and read through verse 3. Now I want you guys to pay attention because this is a thus saith the Lord moment. Okay, so pay close attention. Kind of keep silent. Open up the ears. Pay attention. Because anytime there's a thus saith the Lord, there's something important. Okay? Now, Jeremiah 10 verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. One cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. Okay? Now, I want to take you to another place. Turn with me to Genesis chapter 11. Genesis chapter 11. If you know what Genesis 11 is, it's the Tower of Babel. Okay? Now, I want to make an emphasis on this first verse. Okay? Genesis chapter 11, it's in verse 1, it says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime for they had mortar. mortar. And they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." All right, I want you guys to listen to me on something. Genesis chapter 11 is a type and picture of the New World Order. Okay? We see that the people were going to come together and make a tower to reach into heaven, which was more so like a ziggurat than it was a full round circular thing. But this is where God confounded the languages, which was a punishment because the people wanted to be together as one, lest they be scattered abroad. And God says that they were to scatter and multiply, be fruitful and multiply the earth. So these people were disobedient to what God said. They were rebellious. And because of that, He confounded their languages. Now, I say this is a type and picture of the New World Order, and I'll tell you why. Because even though that there are multiple languages, they're going to eventually, or they're pushing to go back as a one unified language. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is the language of symbols. Okay? These symbols have meaning, which is why we're going through these. These symbols have meaning. And this is a universal language that is everywhere. And no matter where you may be at, it has the same meaning. It may be a different symbol, a slightly different symbol, but it's going to have the same meaning. So therefore, there is going to be a universal language called symbolism. And those symbols point to the New World Order. Okay? Point to the New World Order. Now, I want to say some things about this series. If you have kids, okay, pause the video. Okay, once you pause the video, if you have kids, send them out of the room. Because this series is going to be a series that you gotta be careful how you expose this. Because there's stuff in there that's not for little ears. And I'm going to try to be as PG as I can. But there's just some things you just can't get around. So I just want to say that if you have kids, at this time, I'd ask you to pause the video and have them leave the room. Have them go read their Bibles, pray, or play with your toys or whatever. But just send them out. As long as we do the series as long as I do the series on this, just be sure to not have them in the room with you. Okay? I'm just saying that to cover my own tracks. Okay? Because there's going to be stuff in here that is not really. Let's put it this way: there's an age appropriateness to these. Okay. So with that said, we'll continue on. Now tonight we're going to begin talking about the yin yang symbol. Okay? I'm sure you probably know the yin yang symbol. Okay? There. Right there. That's what we're going to be getting into tonight. And so, a couple things before we get into the book. Excuse me. Couple things is that a lot of people will tell you that the yin yang symbol represents how in a evil there's a little bit of light, and that a whole bunch of light there's a little bit of evil. Okay? And so that kind of thinking is completely and strictly unbiblical. It's not biblical. Okay? You don't have, there is no wickedness with God, and there is no light. There is no natural light that comes from Satan. He's a light bearer, but he has no natural light. Meaning there is no good in Satan. Okay? There is no good in Satan. We'll get to that. We'll get to the tree thing here in just a moment. Okay? I want to take you to 1 John. 1 John. Where's my mouse? There, not the animal. I don't have any mice running around. I'm talking about my mouse on my computer. That was a joke. 1 John chapter 1 verse 5 says, "This then is the message which we have heard of him, and declare unto you that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all." Did you get that? There is no darkness with God. Okay? God is all light. Verse 6, "If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth." Okay? Think about that. If we say we have fellowship with light, okay, but we walk in darkness. Think about it. If you say that you're all light, but you have some darkness in you, we lie and not the truth. Okay? There is no little wickedness and a whole bunch of light, and there is no light and a whole bunch of wickedness. Okay? You're either wicked or you're not. Okay? You're either righteous or you're wicked. Simple as that. There is no in between halvesies or whatnot. Now, 1 John chapter 2 verse 9 says, "He saith he is in the light and hateth his brother is in darkness even until now." Okay? Verse 11 of 1 John chapter 2 says, "But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes." Okay? Now, Ephesians chapter 5 verse 11, "And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them." Do you know what this... That's not it. You know what that is? That right there is saying that light and darkness can coexist together. Meaning that you can have fellowship with them. But the Bible says you are not to have fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. Okay? Now, that's Ephesians 5:11. Going up to verse 8, it says, "For you were sometimes darkness, but now ye are light, in the Lord. Walk as children in the light. Are you getting this? Okay. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? This right here is a communion of light and darkness. This is, you know what this is? This is being unequally yoked. The yin yang symbol is a symbol of being unequally yoked. Okay? Let's see here. John chapter 12, verse 46. I am coming to the light. I am come a light into the world, but whosoever believeth in me should not abide in darkness. John 12:35. Then Jesus said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. John chapter 8, verse 12. Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. John chapter 3, verse 19. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world. And men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Okay? Now, let's see here. Let's go to the trees. Okay, Matthew chapter 7, verse 18. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Again, Luke chapter 6, verse 43. For a good tree bringeth not forth good fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bringeth good fruit. Okay, now, where's my mouse? Excuse me. Now, Satan can transform himself into an angel of light, but that doesn't mean he's true light. Because when you transform yourself into light, it's a lie. If you're able to transform yourself into light, where'd you come from? Darkness. Okay? So, Satan, there is nothing but darkness in Satan. Okay? Think about this. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay? Now, with that said, I want us to get into this book. Okay, let's get into the book. Let's get into the book a little bit. And Oh, 23. I'm still sitting good. I'm still sitting good. And we've already been at this for 40 minutes already. Can't believe it. But let's go ahead, go through this book. Start going through this book. Okay. The yin yang, not yin. It's the yin yang symbol. That's a mouthful. All right. So we're going to get into the yin yang symbol. The yin yang symbol can be seen almost any place one looks. It is used in logos on book covers in the New Age movement, and the martial arts, and so forth. Yin and yang are considered to be opposites. Yin represents eternity, dark feminine, left side of the body, etc. Yang is its opposite and represents history, light, masculine, right side of the body, etc. Yang is male, positive, and represented by the sun. Yin is female, negative, and represented by the moon. Says Paul E. I can't pronounce his name, so forgive me. Paul E. D. in the Gem Kingdom. The symbol itself dates back at least to the 4th century BC and has been identified with the Eastern philosophical religions of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. In the Western world, it has long been adopted into the symbolism of myth, magic, astrology, and witchcraft. Okay? It's a witchcraft symbol. A book, Black Magic, White Magic, explains the yin-yang like this. Another ancient sign called the yin and yang first appeared sometime before the 3rd century BC in China. This emblem became a favorite of sorcerers. The mistress of the occult proclaims that the yin-yang theory is an idea that inspired such things as Chinese boxing, breath control used in yoga, meditation, etc. The use of special herbs and some erotic sexual exercises designed to nourish the yang with the yin. You see what I'm saying? Okay, there's just some things you can't get around. And I have to apologize for the broadcast breaking up. Devil don't like me. I don't think the devil wants me exposing all this. But the devil can kiss my boots, pick rocks, and buzz off. She adds, crucial to Taoism is the idea of yin and yang. According to the ancient Chinese philosophers, in the beginning was Tao, but then Tao separated in the two prime principles, yang and yin, and from the many combinations of yang and yin and everything else that is in the world has emerged. Yang and yin produce the 5 elements. Ooh, 5 elements. Think about that. 5. Come on. Really? Which are metal, wood, fire, water, and earth. Everything in life is in a constant state of flux. In fact, the only thing that you can be sure of is that it will change. Now, let's see here. Oh, you know what? I think I know the chapter. Hang on. Hang on. Galatians 3. It talked about the elements. Galatians chapter 3. Okay? It says this, O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you? This only what I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, not by hearing the faith. Let's see here. Does it actually say here about the weak and hang on a second. I thought it was in there. I was wrong. Weak and okay, it's actually Galatians 4, verse 9. But now after that ye have known God, or rather are known of God, how turn ye again to the weak and beggarly elements, whereunto ye desire again to be in bondage? You know what puts you in bondage? Witchcraft. Remember, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. What did they do at the Tower of Babel? They rebelled. They wanted to be as one. God confounded their language as punishment. What are they doing now? They're trying to be as one again with using symbols like this. And it's talking about the elements. Why would you want to go back to the weak and beggarly elements? The yin-yang symbol is a witchcraft symbol. Another book states, the yin-yang symbol is one of the easiest to recognize and understand. It represents the two opposite conflicting forces found in every action and which are responsible for the dynamic, I can't speak today, the dynamic universe. The yang and the yin operate in the universe primarily through the agency of the five elements, which is the weak and beggarly elements. Earth, which is Saturn. It's really weird. Water, which is Mercury. Metal, which is Venus. Wood, which is Jupiter. And fire, which is Mars. That makes sense. Because you know Mars is kind of like an orange planet. It kind of looks like it's on fire. These elements, under the guidance of the five planets, form which the sun and moon, the seven rulers. Each of the elements may also be yang or yin, so that the combinations of all these could produce broad number possibilities. In astrological alternatives, each of course has its symbol, which can be and often was incised into jade. The yin and yang, also called taigatu, likewise plays an important role in many other cult practices. For instance, the Dictionary of Mysticism states the following about the practice of shushu. You know what? Devil can shoo out of here. That's what he can do. That was a joke. Shushu. The ancient Chinese system of magic, divination, and occultic practices, including astrology, dream interpretation, the art of coordinating human affairs by the active and passive principles of the universe, yin and yang, and the five elements, wu hsing, fortune telling by the use of the stalks of the divination plant, and the tortoise shell, and miscellaneous methods such as dream interpretation, the regulation of forms and shapes of building, etc. Emphasis in the original. Of course, many of the Chinese exercises, medical practices, etc. are also based on the theory of yin and yang. In health, a holistic approach, we find the techniques of acupuncture, acupressure, and moxibustion, whatever that is, apply needle pressure on thermal heat, stimulation, respectively, to meridian points to effect a change in the orderly flow of qi through the meridians This treatment helps to reestablish the yin-yang balance by initiating normal energy flow and stagnant meridians. The choice of meridian points to be stimulated is arrived at by using specific laws derived directly from and knowing the order of chi. The five-element theory is the practical, tangible application of the complementary opposites yin and yang. First of all, no such thing as a yin balance. Why? Because if it's balanced, you would have darkness on one side and light on one side. You wouldn't have a little bit of evil and light and a little bit of light and evil. It doesn't work that way. That's just a bunch of phooey. Yin-yang balance is a bunch of phooey is what that is. The Chinese system of physiotherapy or therapeutic exercises is represented primarily in the practice of Tai Chi Chuan, which is a system of exercise performed in close coordination with regulated breathing. The exercises are comprised of 37 movement patterns, the composition of which is regulated by the principles of yin and yang, emphasis in the original. The philosophy of Tai Chi Chuan is rooted in Taoism, which advocates natural effort, and in the I Ching, or First Ching, or Book of Changes. The movements and inner teachings are derived from the complementary relationship between yin and yang, two fundamental forces that create. Look at that. You probably can't see it, so hang on a second. Wait, hang on. Here we go. There we go. There we go. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Got that dude there. You have some crazy whacked out dude there. And you got that there. Tai Chi Chuan. I think we'll probably finish this page. And then we will actually stop there. So we'll finish this page here, and then we'll pick up on page 14 next week. The interaction of yin yang is vital to the practice of Tai Chi Chuan, since physically and mentally the practitioner is continually shifting between empty and soft and hard achieved to proper and evolving equilibrium. Tai Chi came to be represented by the circle divided into the light and the dark, yang and yin. Other interrelated techniques dependent upon yin and yang are zone therapy, polarity therapy, macrobiotics, shiatsu, jinshin, duin, the martial arts such as kung fu, qigong, karate, or tai chi, etc. So I think we'll probably stop there, because actually we'll get into palmistry next week as it relates to this. But you see a lot of times in karate, like martial arts and all that stuff, you see those symbols. Okay, you see those symbols. And I'm telling you, these symbols are everywhere. They're not just like here and there and what. No, they're everywhere. Sometimes, they're not as they are, but, they might have a different deal. But it's the same meaning. It just might look differently. Okay? So, and we're going to be looking at some stuff and probably looking at some more pictures here next week. Yeah, probably next week. We'll look at some pictures, maybe towards the end of this particular one. And we'll go from there, okay? But I just wanted to get a start on this. Again, it's not meant to be a lengthy lesson, which I've been at it for 56 minutes already. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. It's already been that long already. But anyways, so I hope this lesson was something that's you can take with you and stuff like that. If you're interested in getting the book, I would maybe look at like eBay or Amazon or something. See if you can find this. I'll try to see if I can find where you can find it, and I'll post it. I'll maybe post it here if I can find it, but we'll see. And we'll go from there. Okay. What happened? So, anyways, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully, this is something that kind of helps. Hopefully, you kind of start to kind of get a feeling and an understand a little bit more of an understanding on that, on that symbol there. So, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of symbols we're going to go through and stuff like that. I wonder how many, because I intend to go through this book. And let's see, you got the yin yang symbol, got the circle, the triangle, the hexagram, the pentagram, the dream net. There's a lot of stuff in here that we're going to go through. So this is just the beginning. Y'all just sit tight, be patient with me. Appreciate y'all tuning in today, this evening. Listen, if you guys want to support the channel, make sure you click the subscribe button, you share, like, be sure to comment. It helps YouTube's algorithm, and hopefully you find this informative and interesting. Interesting in the fact of, you learn something new every day. So hopefully this is informative. Hopefully you all get something from this. Hopefully you'll be blessed by it. And we'll dive into this more next week. Tuesday, I can't even remember where we're at. I think we're in Matthew chapter 20. So we'll be in Matthew chapter 20 on Tuesday. And next week we will continue on with the yin yang symbol. All right. I love you guys. You guys are the reason why I do what I do. I love you. And I just hope you guys can just bear with me here and just bear with me a little in my folly. And we'll get through this time together. Amen. So love you guys. God bless you. You guys have a great night. And Lord willing, we will see, I'm losing it tonight. Lord willing, we will see you all on Tuesday, okay? God bless you guys. See ya. Love you. Bye.